Og så har vi fået gæster i studiet, og det her interview laver vi på engelsk. Welcome Karen Stern and Suleiman Khatib. Karen, you are Israeli.
That's right.
Suleiman, you are Palestinian.
Yeah.
And you work together in a peace project called Paris Peace Center, supported by the Danish government, by the way. How difficult is it for you to work together on a project that your political leaders can't agree on, namely peace? Karen?
Okay, well, firstly, we work in the organization that I work for is called the Paris Center for Peace. We run a project in partnership with Suleiman, who is the director of an organization called the Al-Quds Association. And, the organization that both of us work for, we're non-political organizations. We believe that peace will come, not necessarily from the leaders, but from the people themselves. So just what we do is we create connections between people on the ground, Israelis and Palestinians, just to get them to talk to each other.
But what is it that you can agree on that your political leaders can't agree on, Suleiman?
In general, as Karen said, we work on the grassroots level to bring Palestinian and Israeli together through sport and through different activities. And of course, there is space to talk and for disagreement as well, not just to agree, because the problems are there. We are not naive. And we came from different background in both sides. And for us as a Palestinian peace organization, we try to reach peace with the Israeli people, and also our aim also to live in freedom, basically.
So how do you work? You say you play football.
Yeah, we run basically a program called Peace Twin Schools that bringing Israeli and Palestinian kids and teenagers to play football together, where they don't need language. Actually, it's international language, and also locally in each community, they train for skills for football and different kind of sport actually. And this is not easy, of course, since the conflict ongoing. It's not easy.
But frankly, you are the proof that Israelis and Palestinians can live together and work together. Then why all the big fuss about a Palestinian state?
Well, the projects that we run are very unique. On a day-to-day basis, Palestinians and Israelis, they don't get to just meet, play football, work together, cooperate. The only interaction most people get is at a military checkpoint or some sort of, military context. And that's not really the way for people to live side by side. What we're doing is preparing the people for when and if a two-state solution happens, that the people will just be ready to, talk to each other and live side by side in peace.
So what will it mean, do you think, for the peace process if Palestine is recognized as an independent state in the UN?
Yeah. We had other examples of peace agreement actually, and we've been in the peace process for 20 years, negotiation, in the political level. I'm not representing my government, but I'm supporting the Mahmoud Abbas step to go to United Nations, because at the end of the day, we've been in this conflict for decades, and it's maybe the time now to take steps on reality on the ground. Otherwise, you need to give hope for real, for both sides. I mean, for the Palestinians, for us to live without occupation, with the freedom, and also we don't have problem recognizing the rights for Israeli and Jewish to live in peace and safety and so on. And I think this step from the Palestinian leadership is a good step towards that goal. It's not coming soon. It's not instead of negotiation, as Mahmoud Abbas said just a couple of times the last few days.
But what will it mean for the peace process if this happens, that Palestine is recognized as a state, do you think?
It's really hard to tell, as we've seen recently in the Middle East. It's really hard to tell what's going to happen. Hopefully it will bring some hope for the Palestinian people. But, the Paris Center as an organization, as I said, we're a non-political organization. So we're not really involved in the peace process on the political level. We're just working to get the people together on the ground so that whatever happens in the political process, the people will still push for peace and won't want to fight because, they've met each other. It's not just a faceless enemy that they're scared of. We actually can see that we can cooperate. So whatever happens on the political level, the people will continue to be ready for peace.
But peace is made of many small steps, and everybody has to take steps every now and then. You took a step eventually. I know that you've spent 10 years in an Israeli prison.
Yeah.
And now you're sitting here working together in small projects in order to enhance the understanding. What made you take that step?
Yeah, and as you said, like before, this example that Palestinian and Israeli can live together. We actually live in the same place, and we fight for the same place. And I've been fighting when I was a child, in different meanings. And I actually studied Hebrew. I knew Hebrew from the jail, and I still committed to the Palestinian cause. And but there is different things changed. Like it's a process. Like I learned a lot, and I was young, and things changed. And I never heard before the prison time. When I was 14, they arrested me when I was 14. So I never read a book about Nelson Mandela or any non-violence meaning. Of course, I got to study a lot, and also through non-violent activities in the prison itself. Since we are political prisoners, and still we have 7,000. I hope they will release them if there is real peace process. And so I learned practically and in theory like non-violence resistance, and it's happening more and more in the Palestinian society actually.
But have you
as giving hope for
participated
us.
in the Intifada and fought against Israel?
Actually, I was fighting before the Intifada. I was in a Fatah movement, and I throw stones, cocktail Molotov, and I attack soldiers.
So Karen, what are your feelings towards
my background.
Suleiman when you know his background?
I've known Suleiman for a while now, and I know that whatever he did in the past, he's now he's changed his views. Sometimes we don't agree necessarily on the politics or anything like that, but we can agree that what we want at the end of the day, both of us, is peace. And at the moment, we agree on the path to it, which is just working at the grassroots level with the people. So, of course, it's hard to know that somebody has been attacking soldiers and so forth. I don't agree with with the violent methods, but this was a long time ago, and Suleiman has proven over the years that he's worked with the Paris Center that he has changed, and we are wanting to work towards peace.
I know that you are a non-political and you're not a politician, and this is top-level negotiations and decisions. But now I ask you as a person, as an Israeli, and of course you have your own political views and opinions. Do you think it's premature to acknowledge the Palestinians as the Palestinian state as it is now, before the peace process has ended? Or do you think it would be a wise idea also in order to accept that there has been this Arab Spring going through the Middle East, that it would be a nice gesture for Israel? What do you think?
I believe, of course, that a solution will come through negotiations and through talks. Obviously, that would be the ideal outcome here.
But is it too
Unfortunately, recently, talks have been faltering, and so I understand from the Palestinian side that they want to take this step to establish themselves as a state. The institutions there have been, maturing over the years, and I would like for Israel to do whatever they can in order to help them achieve that goal. But I also believe that this should come through a negotiated process.
I was just wondering, what results do you both see from your grassroots work? How will the next generation of little Palestinian girls and boys and little Israeli boys and girls, how will they cope with the situation, do you think?
As you mentioned, the Arab Spring, we are affected by the region, especially in the Palestinian side, and even recently in the Israeli side have been demonstration for social justice in Israel. So things are moving in Middle East basically. Nobody knows where it's going exactly, or soon it will take time. And from the experience, and for the new generation, we work actually with young generation, and using all the Facebook and technology methods.
But what results do you see? Can you give an example of how these children play together or talk together? Or?
Let's put this in the context. Generally speaking, there is no interaction, normal interaction between, as Karen said, between the Palestinian and Israeli, since we have the wall and the checkpoints, and the whole system is against that. So there is a few programs and a few organizations that trying to bring Palestinian and Israeli kids and youth and adults together. And this is technically even and politically so heavy, not easy. But I'm as optimistic person with all the difficulties around us. I think at the end of the day, as I change, and we were talking about change, like many others that I know from my friends in the past, there is no military solution for the conflict at the end of the day, for practical reasons and for moral reasons. Therefore, like, things should be changed, and the young generation are changing as well, since the world became a small village, and technology and change is happening in Middle East. We're not naive to think that tomorrow will be very different, but it will take time. And I think we should arrive to the point that we should find a way to live together. I mean, we can take Europe as example. Just a few years ago, it was, war in different places, and then now we have freedom of movement in Europe, for example, as the EU as example, inspiration for us.
Do you think that in a couple of years we could invite you here again and there would be a representative from Hamas and Gaza traveling around with you?
It's a very tough question. In the Palestinians, it's more Palestinian problem, and there is a problem. We are not denying there is a problem inside our Palestinian political map between Fatah and Hamas. Personally, I live in Ramallah, and my background from Fatah, obvious, and I can't tell you what's going to happen because both sides had signed agreement for unity government, and it's not happening in reality, and nobody knows for how long this will take. But I think as the region is changing, Turkey coming to the game, Egypt changed, and Syria also, this whole situation, and really it's hard to tell what's going to happen. Nobody even know. And honest, if you take it wider to the Arab Spring, about the Islamic Brotherhood, to deal with them or not, this is a question for the West, basically. It's not just about Hamas and the Palestinian side and Israel. I hope things will change even from these organizations, and they will be more liberal.
But Karen Stern, what do you think, or what do you expect will be the outcome of this meeting in the UN? What do you think will happen when Abbas have made his speech on Friday?
What will happen on the ground, you mean?
Yes.
Well, I mean, again, it's so hard to predict anything in the Middle East at the moment. But hopefully, that both sides will stay peaceful. This is what we're hoping for. There's talk sometimes that maybe the Palestinians, there'll be some sort of rioting or something along those lines if they don't see any progress after this declaration of independence and a declaration of a state. But from what I've spoken to different people and different Palestinian partners that we work with, they think that there's not going to be violence, and then we'll just have to see what happens in the political process and how that continues.
But what do you think, if there's no movement, will we see the Intifada one more time, do you think?
Look, we knew in advance, Palestinians, as Palestinians saying, we knew that Americans using the veto, and some European countries, including yours, are saying no, unfortunately.
We don't know yet. We don't know yet.
With the new government, we don't know, but that's what we know in the media, Mm-hmm. And of course, Palestinians will maybe got emotional and angry on the word, since we say either divorce, either married, either we take us for a one state, either you take us for a two state, and so on. I know from Palestinian resources that all the orders given to the people not to use any kind, to show solidarity and go for demonstration, peaceful one, and not use any kind of violence. But the we all worry that things can go, out of control. This nobody knows. I don't have this expectation. I don't have bad expectation on
Let's
Friday.
hope for the best. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Both of
Thank you.
Thanks for hosting us. Thank you.